Hey family, I just want to leave a brief word of encouragement. I just left a powerful Bible study that I attend on Mondays where I sit in a mode of receiving, and God spoke so mightily today. And I just want to encourage somebody who's watching this video. God already knew. What do I mean? That God already has a plan in place, and that plan has already taken into consideration every time that we have been disobedient, every time that we have lacked faith, every time that we have done opposite of what God has told us to do. Prime example is Jonah. You know, when God told Jonah that he needed to bring a message, bring a word to a people God already knew Jonah was not fond of, guess what? Jonah's response was not a surprise to God. That fish was already in position because God already knew. God knew that Jonah was going to go the opposite direction. God knew that Jonah was going to get on a boat. God knew that the people were going to throw him off the boat. God knew that the fish was there to capture Jonah for days. God knew Jonah was going to come out of the fish and that he was still going to feel some type of way, but ultimately he was going to agree with God's plan. Whether he liked it or not, God's plan still prevailed. And I want to encourage you all, God's plan is still prevailing. You know, the enemy wants us to get stuck in a place of self-condemnation and constantly questioning, because I know I'm right there right now. God, was that really you? Was I in your will? God, am I in your will now? This task, this thing, this event, this connection, is that really you? And sometimes we do. As a matter of fact, a lot of times we do miss God. But what I want to encourage you today is God already knew. He already took it into consideration. When we were in our mother's womb, God knew every time we would say no. He knew every time that we would run. He knew every time that we would question. He knew every time that we would disobey. And so the plan he put in place already took all of that into consideration. Isn't that great news? I mean, it's great news for me, because what that tells me is I don't have to spend time spinning my wheels about what I already did. Now all I have to do is say, okay, God, if that wasn't you, what's the lesson you want me to learn? Learn the lesson, repent if I need to, and move on. When God says that he works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose, and he works it together for our good and for his glory, it's not he's working it out. He's not up there scratching his head going, oh, well, Ann did this today. How do I respond? No. God already knew. The plan he has in place has taken into consideration that we are going to miss it. So I do pray that this blesses and encourages somebody today. Stop spinning your wheels. Stop spending your time about what you should have done, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And let's now just say, okay, God, how do I move on from here so I can realign, so that I don't have to be in the wilderness longer than I need to be, so I don't have to be captured by a fish, whatever your scenario is that God is using to get your attention, to put you back on track. Let's just say, God, let me be quicker to be obedient. Let me be discerning. Help me to stay in my word so I can truly know your voice when you speak, right? Just want to encourage you today. God already knew. If this blessed and encouraged you, share it with others who may be beating themselves up thinking that they caught their behavior caught God by surprise. It didn't. God already knew. I love you, family, and I do pray that this encourages somebody today.